captivates?
it's actually we go on pronouncing it like Advaya,
Advaya.
which is kind of simplistic. But then what the classic way of speaking it would be Advai. Advai is how we are registered in ROC also. Advai is from Advait, the Shankaracharya's philosophy. So the Advait element would be Advai. Something which has no T, it's one, has no two sides. So that's Advait. So in our mind, technology and business, they are just one. They are not two sides of a coin, they are not two different domains, they are just one. And we use the same concept in our marketing. When we do marketing for our customers, for our clients. So for business users, we believe that if you're talking about technology, you cannot talk about technology without understanding business. And at the same time, we believe that you cannot do business without understanding technology, or at least understand what technology can do for you. Given that the prominent scenario always be that technology is a different thing, different kind of people. It's a developer's domain. Some people who code, people who run with wires, and business is kind of a different domain. So business people take pride in saying, "Oh, I do not code," or "I do not this thing." Technology people take pride in saying, "I don't understand business," or "I don't want to, I don't care about business." So when this divide exists, we believe there is an opportunity to not bridge them but to make them one. So that's what is our philosophy, and that's where Advai as a name comes in. Fortunately, unfortunately, as it kind of got communicated to our customers and everything, it's an interesting thing. What happens is that your process of naming what you think you are determines what your name should be.
Right.
What your name becomes determines what you are doing. So it becomes a cycle. One thing feeds to another, and that's what probably has happened. So we try to fit to the name. We try to do justice to our name. I would be very frank. It has been the only thing that was the key thing there was that I wasn't really happy being in a job. I wasn't very happy being constrained in a kind of a structure which there is a lot of latitude that you can do in a large organization like ICICI, but then you are constrained in terms of what all of your opinions would be relevant. For example, I would give a stupid example there. If I do not like the color of the carpet, I cannot do anything. If I am a part of a large organization, I probably can influence their IT strategy because that was my job, but then I cannot change the color of the carpet. Now, that kind of is a constraint to me. It's just a trait that somebody would want to be able to influence a very large domain, and that kind of was a motivation, was something that continuously looked like that, okay, this is something which where I am not fully using my potential, and that's where, and then constraints of living in Bombay. Living in Mumbai was also a big thing. Mumbai,
And you are from Udaipur.
I am from Udaipur. I lived in Bangalore. Udaipur, Bangalore, both very green, airy kind of cities.
Romantic city also.
Exactly. Even in those days, Bangalore was a beautiful city. It has gone bad, much bad now, but then it was like that. And interestingly, I liked Bangalore because it reminded me of Udaipur. And when I moved to Bombay, it was all very different. It was the pace of life, the constraints that it puts on your thinking, and the way you think. Everybody seems to be thinking in the same directions at an abstract level. So if you are living in Borivali, you want to go move to Andheri. If you are living in Andheri, you want to move to Worli, and so on. So that's a different kind of a rat race, which was constraining. And to and when I moved to Udaipur, I actually started with not with Advai. I started with a chartered accountancy firm. Tried a lot of things. It just worked out that we got into IT, we got into project management consulting, we got into the Microsoft side of implementing software, got associated with Microsoft in terms of helping them with their marketing, and it kind of we moved from an opportunity to another. And 2005.
2005.
It has been.
It is up to your expectations, or what did you?
I don't think I had any expectation with this business. At all times, it was about doing something that you are enjoying, and not that it is something which one should be proud of or anything. But then I have been a little bit conscious of picking to do things which I'm comfortable doing, or it's it. So, in many ways, my business has been a reflection of what I think about things and everything, and that's natural with any entrepreneur for that matter. So, a reasonable growth, yes. In fact, when we started in 2005, from 2005 to 2008, we actually went through a very rapid expansion. We grew very fast. 2008, 2009, till that period. At around 2009-10, that's where the global slowdown started to hit us, and our pace of growth kind of plateaued. But then, for all I can say, we grew beyond what I would have anticipated, or I would have planned for. But then, to be frank, I never really planned for becoming this big or that big or anything. All I was for, and the people that were around me were okay, let's do something interesting, let's keep on doing something that excites us. And it was very later that we realized that building an organization, building an institution, growing that institution, giving careers to so many people, giving them a forum of expressing themselves and doing what they like is also something that excites us. So it kind of moved from doing technology, business or marketing consulting, something that was a core domain of excitement, to building an organization that also became a matter of excitement to us. It kind of happened gradually. So now when I look at it, okay, if today somebody asks me what excites you the most, then I would probably say building an organization, institutionalizing the thoughts, that excites me. 3, 4, 5 years back, the answer would have been this technology, that technology, how technologies can be integrated, or how marketing can be done about technology in a best way. That excited me. So it kind of, we grew. See, now if we are looking at, as we are looking at building an organization cannot be built or cannot be sustained if the organization does not have a shared vision and shared mission and shared goals. And one of the most potent goals of any organization is growth. And that growth we see in terms of revenues, we see in terms of number of customers, we see in terms of deal sizes, we see in terms of our capacity. And for all that we are looking at doubling what we are today in a span of around 18 to 20 months. So we are very much on that path. We have, in the last few months alone, we have added almost a dozen new customers. We are operating at the fullest of our capacity. We are hiring more people, and we are on that path. So in terms of business growth, that is one. In terms of what we really want with our business, we want to be universally respected in the domains that we are in. As a thought leader, as a people who understand the subject, who get the philosophy of what we are doing. And even for that, we have to have a footprint. We have to have a domain and a mind share, and that needs some level of size. Maybe we don't want to be another Infosys. We probably never want to be another Infosys, but then we need to be something reasonably big, which has a mind share, which is something that is a force to reckon with. That's it. That's for our kind of business. It sometimes get fairly complex to understand because the things that we do seems to be covering everything, but then we do feel that we are a niche or a boutique provider in certain things. So let me kind of go around that. Our major focus is on what we call as marketing effectiveness, specifically technology marketing effectiveness. So if you take a particular technology and you want to market it, how do you effectively market it? How do you effectively enable its sales? Via having a great strategy about their messaging, or having great content, having great promotions, having great sales methods, managing the sales, and so on. So we do a lot of work in that space. Then comes in when we are talking about technology marketing. Technology marketing is very much about what technology does to your organization. And what technology does to your organization is primarily improve enterprise productivity. So we are not just marketing enterprise productivity, we are also helping with enterprise productivity. So let's say we have helped Microsoft to say work on market Microsoft Project Server. So that gives us enough capacity, strength, and understanding to actually implement that as well with our customers. So it kind of extends to providing enterprise productivity solutions as well. As we work on these platforms, we have developed enough technological capability. And also, since we are part of marketing it, we have understood what market needs and how the product should be formulated in the best possible manner. That allows us to help organizations innovate. So let's say a startup or any organization is looking at software product development. We help there as well. So we have another part which is technology innovation. And all of this would not work if we do not focus on consumer experiences. How the end user actually experience your service, your channel, or your product. So the entire user experience or web experience or experiences on different devices, mobile or tablets or large screen TVs or anything. So all of that piece comes into consumer experiences. So consumer experiences, marketing effectiveness, enterprise productivity, and technology innovation, they become 4 spheres of our activity. Now that seems to be covering everything. Okay. But then where we operate is where all of these spheres come together. That's not really everything for everybody. That's a very specific niche where these 4 spheres come together. The intersection of these 4 spheres is where we are. So it's a niche area. It's difficult to define, but then in our mind, we know exactly what we are doing. We know exactly what value we are providing to our clients. That's what we do. And how we do it, or what actually makes this area unique, is combination of multiple skills, like agency-like skills, creator, copy editing, copywriting, content development, or technology consulting kind of skills, business architecture, enterprise architecture, IT implementation, or software development. So these are all very different skills, or marketing skills, or business consulting skills. Getting them together in such a way that they work together has been the key learning that we have had, is the major strength that we have. So whatever that gets enabled by this combination of skills, we do that. And that is the intersection of these 4 spheres. It has been mostly relationship led sales. we we did some good work. Some people come to know about it since we have been operating with very few customers and actually dealing with farming them, getting repeat orders from the same customers, having long-term relationships with that. It has worked well so far. So it has been largely people who have, let's say somebody has worked with us when that person was with Microsoft. More often than not, when that person moves on to some other technology company, let's say VMware or Google, and has to look at something similar to what was done, he calls on us, and we are happy to provide services. And that's how our customer base has also grown. But then when we look at today, when we are looking at a much more aggressive growth cycle, we do feel that what we do, what our skills are, what our strengths are, is has to be something that has to be presented and highlighted to a larger set of people. So now we are looking at participating in events, raising our profile, and so on. Branding, yes. In a limited way, of course. We do not have experience in doing product branding as such. Typically, we start when the idea is already there, name is already there, but then we do help in terms of various sub brands. Now, an example could be that there is a campaign that a particular technology product is running on, let's say, Facebook. Now that might need a campaign, a different campaign, and a branding for that campaign itself. We definitely do that. We definitely work on defining a brand. For example, if there is a technology product, what does that brand or that product mean for a particular audience? What does, let's say, product X or this brand X would mean for a IT administrator? What would it mean for a developer? What would it mean for an end user? What would it mean for a business decision maker? Or what would it mean for a business owner? So, and how do you message that particular thing? How do you position it? So those pieces we definitely do. In India, we do not really have a large customer base. We have worked with in India primarily with Microsoft in India. That has been one of our biggest customers. Microsoft in general and in India also. But then we have worked with various other companies in various places. In Germany, in UK, in US, very much. So we have worked with companies like Google, Microsoft, of course, VMware, Citrix, Brightsmith, Anai Systems, IdeaScale,
So your
Metavana.
partnership with these companies comes from India or worldwide or what?
It's a mix of things. Many of our partnerships or vendor relationships are India based. Some of them are US based. Some of them are global.
So you have office in Udaipur.
We have office in Udaipur. We have people in India who are working from various locations. Like we are working from Delhi also. We have a team member in Indore. We have a team member in Kota. We have somebody working from Bombay. So that was also happening. And then we have an office in US and in US in Seattle, in Silicon Valley. So it's a mix of. But then primarily we are concentrated in Udaipur. That's where much of our operations are. To grow and to accomplish a lot of things in many different areas. Now, when I say many different areas, there are multiple ways that we are looking at. So, if I look at India market, there are two distinct trends that we are looking at leveraging on. One is that India technology industry, the technology companies in India, they have matured that there is a lot of innovation that is happening from India. But then at the same time as the innovation is happening, that innovation is on the technology side, but then it is not aided completely by the innovation on the marketing side. So aiding that technology innovation, the innovation that is happening in India, is one of the opportunities that we see. Another thing that is happening is that Indian industry in general has matured to a level that they are now not looking at process automation or transaction automation or transactional systems alone. Those things have been done and already been matured in most of the organizations. Now people are looking at using technology for innovative purposes. Even if you are a traditional company, you're looking at technology in terms of how my people can work together better. What other things that I can do with technology? How can I use online for delivery, service, sales, user feedback, and so on? Now, those are innovative uses of technologies that companies are looking at. Now, that's where we come in. We aren't a classic software development or an IT services company. We do not really do the classic custom software development or hardware implementation or entire gamut of services. We definitely can do it as a part of a bigger assignment, but then our focus is on the innovative streak, the innovative piece of newer software or newer ways of doing work. And we see that coming in a big way in India. So in India, that is what we are looking at. Elsewhere, we found that while we have been focusing on US primarily, there are a lot of opportunities that are opening up in Europe. In Europe also, there is a big startup movement. There is a whole lot of technology innovation that is going on. Our services are suited wherever this kind of innovation is happening. So very recently, for a German company, they created a software which was about searching in an enterprise intranet in a Facebook-like fashion. Now, it's a great technology, but then even they were not very sure about how exactly it be used in an organization, or how exactly it can be sold, how exactly it can be marketed. So we came in and we helped them in creating a messaging or creating a whole marketing method which leveraged on how that technology would change day-to-day life of somebody who is writing proposals, of somebody who is doing finance, of somebody who is in HR. Now that is the kind of thing a technology startup may not be able to invest, and that's where they can use technology marketing as a service. Now, technology marketing doing all on your own, it is very difficult for any organization. For a startup, it's rather impossible. When a company like ours, which has this whole thing figured out, company which has figured out how to bring together these various elements together, and not just bringing them together but also packaging them into services which can easily connect with their business processes, it becomes a service. It becomes very much a technology marketing as a service. So that's what we see, a lot of demand of that. We see a lot of opportunity in proposing and offering technology marketing as a service. So we see a lot of opportunity there. We are seeing a lot of opportunity about enterprise productivity in the Middle East and African markets. That is also an area of growth that we are looking at. So as we look at all of this, we are fairly confident that we are there to we have the capability to tap these opportunities, and we have an advantage of having a great team already, advantage of having the infrastructure, having the operating model already figured out, advantage of being in Udaipur, a place where our team loves to work at, a place where expanding and investing into a larger capacity is not that difficult. Those are the advantages that we can leverage to grow, and that's where our growth goals, for all purposes, they aren't difficult.